A warm welcome to Lost for Words, a podcast sharing the opinions, glories, and the most interesting stories of guests. This is episode 4, and ahead of the reopening of gymnasiums in Scotland next week, I am joined by someone who works in the fitness industry. Bradley Walker is a personal trainer and online coach with experience working with clients of different ages and body compositions. He speaks to me on the podcast about his route into the fitness industry and how he uses social media to engage with his ever-growing client base. He speaks about some of his concerns about the industry after 4 months of lockdown and how he plans to tailor his methods to cater to this. Bradley has also recently launched a nutrition company called CalPal Nutrition, and we have a deep dive into how that came about. Lost for Words listeners are able to get 10% off any CalPal Nutrition order by using the discount code Bradley10 at the checkout. This was a really fun interview. Bradley was great, spoke in detail, and I am sure that you will have fun listening to it as well. A quick housekeeping note before we get started. Please leave a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple, Google, Spotify, Podbean, or any other platform. It's the best way the podcast can grow and better content can be produced for you, the listener. It's your listening experience that matters the most. But enough from me, now on to today's episode of Lost for Words. Hello Brad, how's it going?
Aye, what's happening, bro?
Right Brad, I'm just going to get started and cut right to it. Obviously now you are a big shot personal trainer, but is there anything from the past that could have predicted you getting to the point where you are now?
So anything for the past, right, cool. So let's kind of take it back to the start, right? So how I first kind of got into the whole fitness thing, right, was I remember I was going to a holiday, right? I was going to Turkey with one of my close friends' kind of family. So at this point, we were like 17, or I'd have been 17 by the time I got there. And basically, I always remember him being a bit bigger than me. I don't know if you actually remember him. Do you remember the boy Brad Lang?
Yes.
I always remember, right, when we were kind of hanging about, kind of going to that. He was always relatively solid, right, for being like 17-year-old, right? And I remember thinking to myself, right, me and him were going this holiday, obviously thinking we're pure bachelors, going to Turkey with his family to an all-inclusive resort, right? We must have thought it was some sort of boys' holiday, but it definitely wasn't. But anyway, for that reason, I was like, right, I need to get sorted. I can't be walking with this boy who's absolutely jacked and I'm feeling dead thin. So the kind of lead up to that holiday, I was starting to do a wee bit of work. Like I just kind of left college and stuff like that, and I was waiting for an apprenticeship to start. So I was kind of doing a wee bit of work and then hitting the gyms at night time. And that kind of gave me my first like real wee taste of actually getting into training. That I mean, like, you know, I was kind of going up to like Easterhouse kind of like sports centre or their gym or whatever, right? And for there, mate, that's kind of where I caught the bug. Like I kind of started to enjoy the training, but I was mostly just training because I was like, I need to build some sort of size there. But then on that holiday, right, that's where I kind of actually properly kind of fell in love with the whole sort of training thing. So on that holiday, right, prior to what we'd actually done, like I was going to the gym with my pals, we were just doing like bicep curls and like doing some exercises on the Swift machine and stuff like that, like just really, really basic stuff. And again, I was going there just to kind of go and actually get myself like bigger, but I never actually, like, I wasn't pure enjoying it. But then on that holiday, I started kind of learning like, all right, cool, so you do this for your chest and you do this for your abs and this for your arms and stuff like that. And I kind of started to kind of really enjoy that. And I remember feeling pure pumped and solid after it. And that's kind of what made me enjoy it, that sort of feeling. And then for there, it kind of spiraled into this now, but I'm completely obsessed with it, I would say.
Nah, that's all good. Being obsessed by something you love will never be a bad thing. Talk me through the change of going from being motivated by someone else, in this case your friend Brad, to you then being motivated by yourself and going on your own journey.
When I kind of first started the game, kind of trying to catch up with him, if you will, right? It was good, right? But like you're chasing more, like you're trying to chase this sort of thing in your head where I kind of felt as if like I was trying to chase this certain point, but realistically, I was never going to go and look like Brad at the end of the day because it's confusing me what to say his name, I guess, but he's obviously his own person, that I mean. But kind of post that holiday, right? I then started to kind of really look into the kind of YouTube fitness scene, which was kind of really just coming about around about that point. And that kind of then taught me more to kind of try and actually to try and motivate myself through the work that I was kind of putting in, right? But I must admit, it did take a long time, like a good couple of years, for me to actually start focusing solely on, right, cool, I'm doing this because I need to go and do this. I was always chasing a sort of kind of image for a while. And it's kind of something I do speak to my clients about as well, right? So again, when a lot of people kind of come and start first training, they're like this, all right, cool, I want to look like, let's just say, Ronaldo, or I want to look like this sort of person. And the thing with that was you're never kind of quite happy because you're always chasing this higher level. You're kind of chasing somebody's chapter 10, whereas you're in your chapter 1 just kind of starting. So I would say my motivation did change then. See, when my motivation did change, I kind of started to kind of actually see the benefits of it more, but I actually noticed my progress I was making. Whereas previously, I felt as if I was going to the gym, doing all this work, but still not being at that kind of chapter 10 that I'm kind of talking about. Like, I wanted the finished product right there and then before having to put in the work for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. So then talk me through, how does that become a passing interest to then being something you would consider as a career as such? How do you then go from that to becoming a personal trainer?
So let's just kind of go back to, so basically from that kind of whole holiday in Turkey, right, I was about 17 years old, came back for there, and then let's just say for the next 2 years, I'm solely training because I'm going holiday with my friends to like Ayia Napa or Ibiza, and that's what the motivation is, trying to look good, because you think that's when you're a younger guy, you're thinking to yourself, right, that's what girls want. They want a big guy with a six pack and pecs and stuff like that, right? And at that point, so maybe to say 2000, not to 2000, I was about 19, I was probably kind of chasing that sort of idea of it. But then kind of along my way of training, obviously I started to make some results. I learned a lot of stuff off my own back personally, through a lot of fitness YouTube, like just watching hours and hours and on end of these videos you probably find quite boring, but like just about like protein and different kind of ways of training and different ways about resting and different stuff like that, kind of learning our own stuff. And kind of along that kind of journey of me picking that stuff up, people started to notice I was kind of making progress myself, and I actually trained like maybe say 3 or 4 kind of like friends at the time. So kind of one of the main ones I remember was a boy, my wee brother's year, Sean, if he's listening to this. And basically it was him that says to me at one point while I was training them. So I was kind of telling him, like, this is what you do for your calories, this is what you do for your protein, this is what you do for your training. He was coming up natural, just training with me. And then kind of halfway through, we kind of be doing this, he started seeing progress, and I remember him saying to me, would you never become a personal trainer? And it kind of dawned upon me then, and I was like, like, the idea, I kind of always thought of the idea, but it kind of never really tickled my fancy, just because I'd seen what kind of trainers and that were doing in the gym, and like, I just didn't kind of want that sort of lifestyle of it. And at the same time, I hadn't learned everything myself. So say kind of by the time I'm about maybe say 19, 20, that's when the kind of thought of becoming a personal trainer came into head, because I kind of trained a couple of people and started seeing results with them. But at the same time, kind of during this same period, I was kind of doing an apprenticeship. So I was doing an apprenticeship for 4 years, started when I was 17 and finished it just before I turned 21. So kind of that last 6 months to a year before I'd finished my course, I was kind of thinking to myself, right, I'm not going to be a gas engineer for the rest of my life. This job is not for me. I'm not enjoying it. Whatever. How can I do something different? And then this is when the PT thing kind of started to come more into my head, because the people who I'd been watching online on like YouTube and stuff like that, I'd been watching like what they were basically doing, right? And these people were essentially filming kind of what they were doing, their workouts, different kind of nutritional information and stuff like that, and then selling their services online. And that's where I kind of see myself wanting to be. So I kind of then realised that I needed to become a personal trainer to then move to the kind of whole online coaching thing, kind of roughly where I'm at just now.
What happens next then in terms of starting your career? Where did you go? Who did you see? Who trains you? Who trains the trainers, I guess?
Who trains the trainers? Well, that's a topic I guess I can get onto in a minute, right? So remind me about that, the actual quality of personal training, right? I'll get onto that. But so I'm at the kind of tail end of my apprenticeship, right? And I've got a couple of months left. So my apprenticeship finished in round about May. So I literally finished that, and the day I finished it, I was like, right, cool, I need to go and find out how I'm going to be a personal trainer. So I found a course that was coming up the following January. So that gave me just over half a year to kind of mess about with and sort it. So the course I'd actually done was through a company called Exercise for Less. And all that is essentially they're the one who hosts your personal trainer training, but you're actually getting a qualification from a company called Reps. Now, I can't remember what Reps stands for, but it's something to do with like basically the standard of exercise, right? I can't remember the name, what the abbreviation is for it. So that's where I go and do my course. So what I was basically doing is I was working as a gas engineer Monday to Friday, and then in the weekends I was going through to Falkirk to do a personal training course, kind of both on Saturday and Sunday.
Is that in the Exercise for Less in Falkirk?
Aye, that is in the Exercise for Less.
That's one of the worst gyms I've ever been in.
Oh, tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it. Imagine driving there on the weekends when you're looking forward to being finished. You know what I mean? Finished for the weekend, and you've got to drive through to Falkirk to the worst gym ever. Only good thing is I got to the gym in between in between our learning, so that was not too bad. You know what I mean? Aye. So that's where I done the course. So I found the course online, and that's where I kind of decided to go through to. So it was meant to be in Glasgow, the course, but it got moved last minute to Falkirk. And if I could say it as well, the actually the quality of the service that this course delivered was pretty standard, right? So this is kind of what I was going to get onto about the kind of actual training the trainers, right? So see, personally as a personal trainer, right, I found that the level of knowledge you need to have to be a personal trainer is super, super low, right? And when I mean a personal trainer, I mean a qualified personal trainer, where you get like a couple of different levels to your course, right? So it basically goes at a level 2, which basically anybody in the gym has to do to work in a gym. So even the person at the front desk. Then you've got a level 3 PT, which is a minimum to kind of make it, and then a level 4 PT, which is a higher level again, right? So I personally have only got the level 3 personal trainer, but when I went and done the course, right, like I found myself, like I don't want to say I knew everything, right, but I knew a vast majority of the stuff just for learning it online, right? And I was going to this course expecting to learn how to properly teach people to maybe say, for example, do deadlifts, do squats, do bench press, whatever, all the proper form and all the proper calories and nutrients and all that sort of stuff, like really stuff that is the main bulk of personal training, right? Like these are the things I have to do on a day-to-day basis with clients, is teach them how to do exercises, tell them about their calories, tell them about their macronutrients, etc., etc. But when I went to do the course, it was just such a low standard. Like everything I had to go and like basically every week you kind of had different modules you had to go and do and different kind of things to learn. And like I had personally learned this stuff for a video I'd watched years ago. And I'm going to this course, and like the lecturer's asking you stuff like, cool, do you know, I don't know, whatever, stupid questions, and like it was just such a low level to answer it. And I just found like an actual whole standard, like they hold personal trainer state is really, really low. And like to become, in my opinion, a good personal trainer, the amount of learning you need to do out with that course is massive. You know what I mean? Like you'd be surprised how easy it is to become a personal trainer. And that's what I find quite scary, man. There's a lot of personal trainers out there that are doing stuff like, well, I personally wouldn't be telling people to do it myself, you know what I mean? But anyway.
See, that's what I wanted to ask. If you think about any successful personal trainer, will they have learned more by being a personal trainer rather than learning to be a personal trainer?
Aye, definitely. Like the people who tend to do best in this area, there's kind of two types, I would say. So the people who have study a lot into it and are genuinely interested in the whole field they're in, right? So for example, me being a personal trainer, I specify in getting like young males built, right? That's my whole thing. And building muscle mass and help getting them lean. But some personal trainers, for example, are more sports specific. For example, maybe some personal trainers will make you better running with football or whatever it may be, right? So the personal trainers who tend to do the best are the ones who put a lot of extra time into either their studying of their niche, if you will, or the ones who are really good at marketing. So that's something you can see quite a lot. A lot of personal trainers, or even like a lot of young guys with a decent physique, right, on social media, if they can market themselves properly, they'll be like quote unquote a successful personal trainer because they'll have loads of clients and stuff like that. With all these people wanting to look like them, but realistically, it's no how they look; it's what they know. They should be kind of getting judged on with that. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does. I've got a full section planned for social media, so don't worry about that. When did you actually qualify, Brad? And where was your first job as a personal trainer?
Right, so I first kind of got my qualification, and that was round about again, probably about the May time, round about May or June. I know it was definitely May, 2017, I believe it was. 2017. So I got that qualification, right, and I was literally going on holiday with my pals after that, right. So that kind of tied in nicely. I learned wee bits and bobs about kind of just changing things maybe through my training with that course that I can apply to that, right. So that kind of tied in nicely. But then I came back from a holiday, and that was maybe say the tail end of June that I'd then officially launched my Instagram. That's me, Bradley Walker Fitness. I'm a personal trainer now, right? So my first job, you had to go and try and find your kind of own place to go and work in. So my first job was in a place called Future Fitness in Shawlands, which is an awesome gym for anybody who wants to go check it out. Can I get onto that in just a wee second, right? But just before I went into Future Fitness, I was trying to find gyms in the East End, obviously kind of local to where I stayed. And I did go into one called Physique and Power, which is just down facing McDonald's, London Road. But like, it was a dead like kind of dingy gym. Like, it's just one of the ones. There was no heating in the place, and it was just all big old guys who were massive in it. But I ended up kind of not going there. But it was one of the things I didn't really have much option to go with, so I was kind of like, right, cool, I guess I'm just going to have to work here. But I went there, I went down and visited that place, and then luckily I found Future Fitness. So Future Fitness is where I would say kind of the whole thing kick-started. Again, that's in Shawlands, right? So I started in there, and what I was doing, I was working, again, I was still working as a gas engineer at this point, so I'd been a qualified gas engineer working 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. And then what I would do straight from work is I would park my van. Basically, my old gas engineer job, I used to work in secondary school, so I would go into different secondary schools and go and fix their boilers and stuff, right? So I used to go and park at a school right beside the gym I worked in every day, straight after work. Go from my gas engineer job to the gym, train for between 3 to 5, quickly get a shower, ready, eat, and then I would take clients from 5 to 10 at night. So it was really long days, to be honest, when I first started, man, that kind of 7 in the morning to like 10 at night. And then I had to drive back home from Shawlands as well. But that's kind of how it started out. And it was a graft and a half, to be honest.
So just for clarity, Brad, in terms of explaining it to people that might not know, how does a personal trainer sustain themselves and make an income?
When I was with Future Fitness, right, because I was just new, they basically kind of gave me an option where what I would do, instead of paying rent to the gym, I would pay per client, right? So for any personal trainer that goes and makes an income from it or whatever, right, what they usually do, they'll be based in usually 1, maybe 2 gyms. And what they'll 9 times out of 10 do is pay the gym rent to work there. So, for example, for Everlast, I pay them £500 every month just to sit and work there, and that's before you even kick a ball.
Right.
And then for there, you have to make, obviously, the rent to pay the gym, and then money on top of that to kind of make your wages from it.
So, over the course of a month, if you make X amount, 500 of that goes to Everlast, and then the rest is yours to live from?
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
So, how long did you last in Future Fitness?
So I was in Future Fitness. So I was in there for so I must have started in there round about July, just about the tail end of June, July, and I was in there up until 2000. I was up in there until May 2018, and then May 2018 I ended up going to Ibiza for a season, which done a lot of bad stuff to my gains. I lost a lot of muscle mass there. I basically kind of worked in there in Future Fitness for just about a year. Bearing in mind within that time, but so the first maybe say 6 months kind of leading up to Christmas, I was maybe getting like say 2-3 clients a night at the very most, and I was buzzing with that. And I mean, I was charging people like such a little amount just because I wanted to be doing it. I wanted to be part of this, and like that was me into it. And then kind of from kind of maybe just say let's just say roughly about the kind of September point, I started to get a wee bit busier. Leading up to Christmas, I maybe had, say, for example, an average of like 3 clients per night. Then after the January kind of came, man, it just sort of boomed, and I was full like every night from then. So I could only do 25 hours in there per week, just Monday to Friday. I always took weekends off just because I'd kind of done a lot of work midweek. So I ended up getting really busy through there, to be honest, and it was amazing because the travelling people I had to come see and stuff like that was also good, man. I mean, so it was good. So it was a good wee kind of year in there, and then kind of it all went a wee bit Pete Tong when we went to Ibiza for the summer for there, which if you want, I'll continue on with this, right? Because it kind of broke me to Ibiza was quite a good turning point for me. In regards to my whole business. But before I go into that, is there any kind of stuff you'd want to round up with the kind of future fitness side at all?
No, fire away.
Just one thing before I move on to the Ibiza thing, I would say is, see that kind of first year I was in future fitness, man, the amount of learning I done in there was insane, because I went from kind of thinking everybody can do the same training program like exactly like me, and then I really learned very quickly that you have to make a lot of adaptations. But again, I guess we can touch on that further down the line, because that does come more further down the line. Kind of whole adapting workouts, I got much better at that the further I got into my kind of career as a personal trainer. But anyway, so May kind of 2018, I go away to Ibiza for the season, and I have it in my head like, cool, I'm going to do the whole healthy eating out here. I'm going to be eating loads of chicken every day, my protein shakes, training like mad, and all that sort of stuff, right? And that I did do that for the first 2 months, but then kind of as the longer I was there, just kind of got falling more and more into that sort of party life. And I remember for the last month, I barely trained at all, which was always weird for me. And I lost a ton of size, right? But while I was over in Ibiza, right, because when I was over there, right, I essentially, like, I was going through money, like Nadie's business, right? Just going out drinking every night, eating out every day, and I was just flying through money, right? And I got to a point where just before I kind of left, I was also speaking to this girl, which didn't work out, so I'll not go too much more into that. But I was kind of speaking to this girl at the time, right? And I was thinking to myself, man, like, right, I'm realising that kind of the importance of money more while I was over there, because I was spending solely for myself. And I was like, this PT thing, man, I'm wasting my time doing this. I'm not even making that much money with it. I was really doubting it. I was like, that's not a real job, man. Like, I might do that when I'm older and whatever. And I had all these doubts in my head about the kind of personal training sort of thing. And when I came back to Ibiza for the first 2 months, I gave up on the personal training thing. So I did. And I just thought, nah, I'm not doing this. Like, it's just not worth it. I'm going to just stick to my own job, make a good wage there, which was like, so my wage there was like a good high end kind of basic wage, like 30 grand, right, per year. But, and like, to me, that was the safe job, the right job today. You know what I mean? Like, kind of the whole way you get recommended to your full life. Oh, I take an apprenticeship. That's a good job. It's a steady income. It's a safe job. And all this sort of stuff kind of came into my head while I was in Ibiza, because again, I was kind of starting to realise the importance of having money sitting there. Okay, so basically, gas engineer by day, PT by night, right? That's how I was living life. And then again, I kind of went away to Ibiza at that point. The last 2 months again, the last month, I kind of started to see, why am I doing this? What's the point? Whatever, right? And I had a lot of doubt in myself. As you can imagine, see, being from kind of like the whole Glasgow East End sort of thing, but I was putting myself out there, not as much as I am now, but I was putting myself out there when all my pals were like the people who you would consider cool people, you know what I mean? And they weren't doing it like that. And I always felt, it's like, am I just being an idiot? Am I just making a fool of myself doing that sort of stuff? And I had a lot of doubts in the kind of personal training thing. But anyway, moving on for there, right? After I came back from Ibiza, for the first month, I had complete Ibiza blues, and I was like, oh my God, man, like hating life, whatever, just kind of getting back into my work and all that. And that was all fine. And I was kind of starting to get back into the swing of my kind of job. Then, maybe say a month or two when I was back, maybe 2 months after I was back, what the girl I was talking to kind of all went kind of wrong for them. We kind of stopped talking. It was one of the ones that was like it got to my head quite a lot. And I remember thinking to myself, man, like, what am I doing, man? Like, what am I doing? Whatever. And I kind of had this sort of thought in my head, and I was like, why have I gave up on this personal training thing? Like, I love training. I'm now back to pure enjoying my training after I've been back for Ibiza for a wee bit. My head's kind of a bit more clear. And I was thinking to myself, like, why have I gave up on this? Like, what have I gave up on this for? And for there, because I kind of went through this sort of breakup, I kind of had it in my head. I was like, well, no, what? I'm going to show you how good am I. I'm going to show you how great I am, because I just wanted to prove myself in a way. And then, so that the kind of following that must have been that October. I got back into my sort of PT, and by this point, I'm now starting to put out a lot of video content. So before that, I was only kind of posting like stupid stuff, like random images and that. It just wasn't a good kind of social content to post. So it's actually still on my Instagram now, actually. But after that sort of kind of the season after Ibiza, kind of leading into October, that sort of year or whatever it might have been, I then started really just saying, like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to start making these videos. I'm going to start doing something different than nobody in Glasgow at that point was doing. I mean, I never seen anybody posting stuff like that, like, especially in the East End. I never seen anybody kind of posting sort of videos about that. And I started posting videos about, like, all right, cool, this is how you do your deadlifts, this is how you do a squat, this is how you do an incline bench, and kind of explaining the benefits of these exercises and stuff like that. And then to that point, because I'd already worked with clients, like the Instagram kind of just picked up where it left off. If that makes sense. Right. So that's around about October time, and I was kind of again starting to get right into it. And then I remember thinking to myself, that gym up Everlast is opening, and I need to get in there. Because I knew for a fact, like, I seen it getting built for ages, and I applied about 100 times to try and get here back for these people, because I knew for a fact I wanted to be in there. I wanted to be the first PT in there to make it my own, right? I remember sending hundreds of emails and never hearing back from them. I was like, fuck's sake. So by this point, I was just still posting content, working on future fitness. And then one day I get an email for Everlast saying, oh, hi, we've seen your application. Do you want to come down and see the gym? I was like, definitely. So went there, knowing it in my head, like, I'm going to get this place, because again, the Everlast was in the East End where I was, 5 minutes away from my house. It was so much easier for travelling. I knew loads of people locally, so if they were going to come train with me, it's going to be much easier to get them up the fort than it is to get them to the south side. And I knew for a fact if I was one of the first personal trainers in there, I would, like, you would just have a much bigger impact, because you're the first person in there. I mean, you're not going in the new person having to compete against all these people. You're why the first in. And by this point, I'd kind of made a bit of a name for myself with my social media. So I just then kind of got into Everlast, and that was on the 18th of November. I always remember the day. 19th of November. 18th is my girlfriend's birthday. 19th of November is when I started in Everlast up the fort. And for there, that's when, like, my fucking, like, kind of took off. So I kind of was doing the same thing through November, December, January, February, March, April, right? So it's all the months I was doing the same thing, working to 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way through to 10 o'clock at night, just doing all the hours, Monday to Friday. Then just in that sort of kind of time, I'd built up a massive client base. So I had, like, waiting lists for people to come train with. I was always full. I had loads of stuff was just kind of all working out for us very well. And then around about this time, I actually met my girlfriend, who was a client I used to train. But for anybody listening, I don't do that with all my clients. I swear to God, she's the only one I've you know what I mean? She'll be glad to hear that too, right? But I don't usually go about turning my clients into my girlfriends in case anybody asked. And I always kind of had a rule with myself. I says, no, I'll never do that, because it's just sleazy and you don't want to get that kind of reputation for yourself. But at the end of the day, she came in and rocked my world, so I had to save her for myself, if you know what I mean. So I end up going out with starting kind of talking to her around about, don't know, it must have been probably April time. So just before April. So April 1st comes, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm actually killing myself working these two jobs here. Like, I was honestly going into my gas engineer job, right, and I was sitting on my phone all day, messaging people plans, telling them about their diet, just going through loads of stuff with my clients all day, right, and then I was making content while I was in there and just doing loads of stuff, right. Like the PT job started to kind of take over my gas engineer job, which they'll hate if they ever hear that, by the way, because the amount of hours I'd done as a the amount of hours basically I done in there doing PT work that they didn't know about was crazy. But hopefully nobody ever listens to this for there anyway, or I'll end up getting done. But basically, I was working as a kind of the gas engineer job just solely because it was like my main income at that point. And April 1st is kind of running about, and I'm kind of talking to my girlfriend, and I'm like, I can't keep doing this, man, working all the hours. And she says to me, why do you think about just going full time? Like, why not just do it? You've got loads of clients, and like, she kind of reassured me. But at the point, I was like, oh, man, I'm leaving a stable job. But again, the job I had was a really, really stable, secure job.
Steady income, you know exactly what you're getting.
Exactly, mate. The safe job, mate. The job fucking like your parents tell you to get. You know what I mean? Like, it was a safe job, and I was kind of talking to her about it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I was hesitant, obviously. And I says to like, all the people I work with, like, I'm thinking about doing this, and I don't know what to do. And I says to my dad, my mum, and all of them kind of had the same idea, saying, it's a steady job. You never know what could happen, blah, blah, blah. That all being said, so my mum did say, well, no, what, at the end of the day, you're in a position where if it goes wrong, you've only got yourself to look after. You've not got kids, you've not got fucking a house or anything like that. You know what I mean? So why not just go for it? And then I phoned up my boss on April Fool's Day, and I was like, all right, Peter, I'm patching my job. I'm resigning. I can't even remember the word I used. He says quitting. I'm quitting my job. And he's like to me, you kidding me on? And I was like, no. He's like, shut up, you're kidding on. Like, he genuinely didn't believe me that I said I was going to leave my job. Fool's? Because it was April Fool's as well, mate, which was just awkward timing. I didn't even plan it to be that, you know what I mean? But he genuinely thought I was balling up. He's like, right, you know what today? Phone me tomorrow if you want to leave, and we'll talk about it then. That's the right sound. So the next day comes, and I'm sitting shaking the full day like, right, I've got to fucking phone him, man, what the hell? And again, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was just kind of reassuring us, saying, oh, no, what? Well, at the end of the day, you've got all these people doing this. Look how far you've came in this short time. Blah blah blah. Because realistically, my full PT career was up. Like, I'd basically kind of started from scratch twice, if that makes sense. Because like the time I took it for Ibiza, I'd lost all the kind of clients, but I just kind of still had the social media, if that makes sense. But I'd built it up really, really quickly, and she just kind of reassured us. And then we kind of spoke to my boss that day, and he says, right, cool, we'll start getting you. And I guess we'll start the kind of the quitting process. So after that, I kind of had to wait for another wee month. With my aim work. By this point, I was literally just ready to go. So I was leaving work very, very early and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But and that's kind of basically how it happened. And then May 2019, I became a full-time personal trainer.
What impact do you think the opening of the Everlast has had on the East End of Glasgow?
Yeah, so I would say Everlast has had a good impact on it. Because of where it is, I feel as if it catches a lot of areas where, like proper East End areas. And I think the fact that it's a good quality gym that offers not just kind of like your standard treadmills and stuff like that, it's got a good kind of wide range of, like, you know yourself, you go up and use the bags and stuff like that up there. It's got all the kind of like proper bodybuilding machines in that, if you will, loads of good weights. So I feel as if it has had a good impact on it, definitely. Like, a lot of people I know who were never really into training have got into training solely through that gym. So I would say it's had a good impact.
What have you learned about yourself as a trainer since you've been in there?
To be honest, the amount I progressed in there has been insane. Like, even to just before kind of pre-lockdown or whatever, or even from the first lockdown to the kind of end of that, the amount I learned in that sort of time was massive. So, like, as a trainer, since I've been in there, I've learned millions, so much. So, for example, the best thing I would say I've learned as a trainer, that's something I got kind of taught by myself, that something I should have been taught, in my opinion, in the personal training course, right, was adapting workouts to people. So, for example, going kind of back to what I'd said previously, when I first started as a trainer, I would kind of say, so just say, for example, the random everyday person comes into the gym, right? I'll use a young guy as an example, right? So a young guy comes into the gym, it's his first time training, or he's maybe done a wee bit of training with his pals and that sort of stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool, leg day. And then for the leg day, I would make him go do squats and deadlifts and leg press and all these big workouts with loads of compound exercises and all that sort of stuff. And what I was learning very, very quickly in that time was, right, wait a minute, why are so many people struggling to do this? So, for example, see when a young guy comes into the gym, right? I know for a fact, maybe not for a fact, but I know 9 times out of 10, his hamstrings are going to be tight because unless they're playing football and stretching them a lot actively, they're never going to stretch them, right? They're just never going to stretch them and just get tighter and tighter and tighter. So, look, one thing I've learned massively is how to adapt workouts to suit that for people, right? So, for example, again, if the young guy comes into the gym, I'm not going to put him into straight away doing barbell squats, barbell deadlifts. What I'll do is I'll adapt his workout to suit him. So, for example, I'll get him to squat firstly with just body weight onto a bench. And the reason the bench is there is to ensure they come down to the kind of proper depth, which is like a good minimum of depth for a squat. So that would be till your kind of hips and knees are on line, or like your upper leg is parallel. So that's kind of like one kind of adaptation I'd kind of learned to do that. So then for there, it's you've got to adapt the exercise to suit them. And next you've got to adapt the workout to kind of start building on one where they need to work on, and two, like make it so they can keep progressing in that sort of workout, if that makes sense.
So, Brad, would you say the young, skinny, say 18 to 21 guy is your main type of client?
Aye. So I'm kind of, see, to be honest, right? Aye. So my kind of dream client, right, is a young guy, say the age 16 to about 25, who is either never trained or done a wee bit of training before, right? Because they're the ones who I feel I can connect with the most, because I can tell them what I went through, all the things I've kind of learned as that, right? But that being said, as I'd kind of every year, I kind of like bulk up and cut down. So from that, I've kind of learned a lot about fat loss as well. So I've never really been like a fat person, if you will. I'm quite tall and thin. But that being said, I do still have to go through my kind of cycles of losing fat. So with my clients, I tend to kind of usually gravitate towards either the young guy looking to build muscle, or maybe say somebody about 25 plus looking to kind of lean down. Maybe they've already got a good frame of muscle and kind of looking to trim it down from there. So that's kind of my main kind of niche, if you will, is young guys definitely trying to build up. That's my kind of favourite thing to do. But I do get a lot of kind of like slightly older, like say 25 plus men coming to kind of trim down as well.
So you're saying all this, Brad, but anybody who knows you or has seen you training knows that you don't just train the 16 to 25-year-old guy. You have a lot of female clients. How have you used your adaptability to be able to successfully train females?
So with females, so she's just as we're kind of saying there, right? So basically, see, before I learned anything about, all right, cool, I need to go for a niche sort of area, I kind of was just putting out content that was like that I found useful, like that I felt people should know, right? So my content going out was kind of a mix between stuff for guys and for girls. So my kind of like followers or whatever, like I've got a 50-50 split in my audience. So just with that, I kind of have a 50-50 split in my clients. Now it's definitely more males, but when I started training females, I had to learn a lot about like different things that only affect females, right? So for example, see a girl's menstrual cycle, which is basically the monthly cycle that every female goes through. That massively affects their ability to train and to lose weight. Maybe not too much to lose weight, but how their weight actually looks, right? So I'll just kind of explain this, for example, right? So with a kind of girl's monthly cycle, there'll be a certain point in that cycle where they're at the weakest point to train. So like, for example, their actual strength will be down, their endurance will be down, and the possibility of an injury for them goes way up through the roof. And it's all to do with basically their joints not being kind of as stable during that sort of time of the month. As well as that, you've got to kind of like teach them how to, instead of checking their weight, for example, week to week, I would say to tell them to check their weight over like a monthly basis. So for example, like the kind of menstrual cycle is roughly about kind of 4 weeks. So I would say, right, cool. So let's just say, for example, their time in a month is the second week of the month. I would tell them to compare, say, month one, week one's weight with month 2, week one's weight. Does that make sense? And then like month one's second week.
A girl's weight fluctuates in accordance with her 28-day cycle, whereas we as guys, we don't have any of those biological changes happening to us on a month-to-month basis. Is that right?
Exactly. So like a girl's weight can go up massively on their time of the month. Like I've seen people gain half a stone or more on the week of the kind of time of the month or whatever. So I had to learn quite a lot to adapt kind of first of all their training and their whole approach to how they're trying to progress with that. Another thing I found with females, not with every female, but with some, is as well is a big part of it is building up their confidence in the gym. Because remember I was talking about the guys kind of having like restrictions with their flexibility in that.
Yeah.
Something I've found for training females, like the vast majority of females actually have really good flexibility, which was something I've never quite came down to the conclusion of. A couple of kind of things come into my head because I don't know the exact conclusion of it, but every female, well, say most of the females I train tend to have really good flexibility. So see an actual female's ability to train, they're usually the ones that take to their form best first because they're taking their time, they're not lifting too heavy. Like they're actually kind of better to teach, if that makes sense, because they're not wanting to go lift the heaviest weight, they're not wanting to try and impress somebody, they're just there to do their own thing, that I mean. But the thing I found with females mostly was getting them confident enough to go and do it. And that's kind of the biggest adaptation I had to kind of make for them is like trying to like edge them in towards the gym, and teaching them that weight's only going to make them like absolutely massive within a couple of weeks. Because that's quite a common sort of thing I used to always kind of get says was, I want to get toned in that, but I don't want to have big massive muscles. And that's kind of something I always had to kind of teach them about.
You touching on your follower base there, that's a nice transition onto the social media questions now, Brad. How important is social media, in particular Instagram, for a personal trainer to be successful?
So just like that's, it's honestly, see to me, right? See if I never had my Instagram, I wouldn't have, I would say at least about 99% of my clients. Like so many of my clients came through social media, right? So for example, when I was working in the first gym, the Future Fitness, every one of my clients all came through me. It was never through the gym. Then when I went to work in Everlast, like literally, I would, if I'm lucky, get one client a month through the gym. But that gym was actually terrible at supplying their PTs with clients, which they should be doing. But basically, the way they're set up, they kind of they basically do something to suit them. But I'm not going to get into that anyway. But the social media is a massive part of like getting your clients. Like now, if you're a PT and you're not on social media, you're probably missing out on a massive base of clients because that's where everybody is at the end of the day. Like it's like, how can you get in front of all these people's faces? All right, cool, well, they're on Instagram, so let's just go into Instagram and start telling them your fitness stuff, you know what I mean? So I would say it's a massive part. Like, as I said, if it wasn't for my Instagram, I wouldn't be where I'm at just now because, again, all my clients all come through that.
You're obviously very Instagram savvy, Bradley, but is that something you were taught when you were being taught how to be a personal trainer? Or is the use of social media something that you have self-taught?
So, firstly, right, I honestly wouldn't even think I'm that Instagram savvy, right, because I've still got a lot to learn, right, and every kind of time I feel as if I'm kind of getting on top of things, I learn something more. So, like, recently, I've been kind of trying to adapt how I post to social media for different reasons, and like over the last year, I've been kind of testing out different things. So, like for example, if you were to go through my posts for the last year, you'd probably see a lot of different ways of trying to like essentially get more leads for clients, different ways of putting out information, and that's basically something I've kind of picked up on myself. Again, even to this day, I'm still learning loads about it. I've not mastered it in any way, shape, or form yet, but it's something I've learned all myself, and I never ever got any sort of information about that through the personal training course either, which I think they do now touch on a wee bit, but I don't think they kind of go into how important it is. So, for example, like see the kind of all the personal trainers in my gym, like the ones who are coming are just new to the gym or whatever, right? Like they would say, "Oh, I've seen you on social media, whatever," right? And they would say, "Oh, right, so I'm needing to get build up my clients." Like, the first thing I'd always say to them is start talking to the camera. Like it's all good posting a video you doing a bicep curl or whatever, right? But like realistically, like the talking to the camera and like the interacting with the camera and the actual good quality videos, tips and stuff like that, they're all the kind of ones that actually resonate with people, you know what I mean? Like so many people post workouts to Instagram all the time, and I genuinely would be surprised if anybody ever goes and does them. Like I don't know, maybe they do. But like that's something I've kind of learned, is definitely trying to kind of actually connect with your audience through the means of talking to the camera, I feel.
See your videography and the way that you address people on camera, is that self-taught, or did you pick that up from somewhere like YouTube?
So basically with the videoing thing, so as I said previously, I'd watched lots and lots of fitness YouTube, right? So like I follow a lot of people, and even to this day, can I still follow them? And I kind of just took bits for what they were doing and made it into my own sort of way. So the videos kind of started off with just me either videoing, say for example, doing like a bench press and me voicing over, telling them what to do. And just as I kind of got more skilled with the video editing, I started to realise, right, cool, that doesn't sound as good. Right, fine, that video isn't looking as good. And just for kind of passion of the videography, it just developed and developed and developed. And it's probably one of the most enjoyable parts of the actual process. It's quite time consuming.
You've obviously learned a lot from watching content on YouTube. What are your principles when you think about recording and uploading content?
So from the whole YouTube thing, what I basically learned from there was kind of how to actually kind of present myself in the video. So when I was kind of starting to do it all, so with the people I was watching on YouTube, they were all kind of based in America. There was one in Ireland and there was one in England. There was nobody in Scotland kind of doing it. So from them, I kind of learned how they were actually like, well, to start with, or making their videos. So the main thing I learned was the way they were putting their videos together, right? So when I seen people putting stuff on Instagram, if they were putting a video to anything on Instagram, it would maybe be them doing an exercise and a bit of music behind it. Then I thought, right, cool, that's not getting all the information that could be there. So what I started doing was doing the kind of voiceover, as we spoke about, and what I was doing as a video on it, getting different angles, and then as well as that, adding the voiceover with a little bit of music in there, right? And they're all kind of there for different reasons. So the kind of different angles I was moving from video, from clip to clip, because that helps keep people's attention in it more. And as well as that, I was kind of showing people how to like, kind of do the exercise for different angles. Just keeping a wee bit of music in there as well, obviously, just to kind of make it interesting for it and for people to kind of listen to it. And then as well as that, I was talking over the videos. But like an issue I always kind of found on Instagram, and still to this day I find the issue on Instagram, is I can only speak for a minute, right? And I can rant on about stuff for a long time, and I like to really go into depth in what I'm talking about. And I felt as if that kind of minute video was limiting me all the time, and I was kind of getting to a point where I was talking to the camera and I was really, really, really talking really fast just to try and get all the information in. And that's why I've kind of recently wanted to transfer over to YouTube, because I feel as if I can just get so much more information into these videos now, instead of me just rushing a video and just rambling on, putting it onto Instagram, and then it's there for a minute and then gone. I decided I kind of want to now start putting these into YouTube, because the thing with Instagram is a very day-to-day sort of social media. So very rarely will people go into other people's social media. For example, I find it very rare for me myself to go into another, let's just say, fitness trainer or whatever. I don't go into their Instagram and look at their posts for say 6 months ago. I'll go into their Instagram and maybe at the most look at their top 3-4 posts. So what I found that was happening was I was wasting a lot of good quality content on there, because somebody was seeing it that day, and if they've never seen that day, they missed it. So that's kind of why I wanted to move over to the YouTube thing, because when you put stuff onto YouTube, it's there, and like people can go down and see your videos for years ago, and it's more kind of common to do.
YouTube provides you with a catalogue of content.
Aye, exactly it. But as well as that, at the same time, it gives me much more time to put much more information into it. So, for example, I've actually got a video up right here. I'm going to upload tonight. It's a video about protein in your diet, who needs it, what's it for, etc. And that video is solely talking about protein, and it's 16 minutes long. So that's like 16 times longer than I would be able to do that onto Instagram. So I'm just finding it kind of, the YouTube is a much better way to kind of get my information across. And as well, it's a much, much better way, I feel, to connect to my audience, because instead of people just seeing me talking about fitness stuff, they actually get to kind of see a wee bit more about my personality, if that makes sense as well. Like, they'll maybe get to hear my shite patter or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? And I feel as if that kind of gets people to realise more, like, cool, if he can do this, I can do it as well. Because at the end of the day, what I want people to do is I want to inspire people to make sure, like the next generation coming up, that and show them how easy it is to kind of be in shape, how to live a lifestyle where you're in shape, you're no fucking hating yourself because you're unhealthy, just sitting on a couch or whatever. Like, you can actually live a relatively healthy life while still enjoying a lot of it, you know what I mean? And that's what I feel YouTube helps me get out there a bit more.
Now, I would think, now I could totally be wrong, but it's just a hunch, I guess, that being a good personal trainer isn't just about the training, it's about the personality. And ultimately, the more that you give of yourself and the way that you upload those YouTube videos, the more people are going to latch onto you and want to train with you.
Definitely, mate. Like, at the end of the day, right, like, see a personal trainer's job now, right? Like, you could, in theory, if you wanted to, go in and learn everything you need to know about getting in shape, losing fat, building muscle, training, whatever it may be. You can learn all that online now. Literally, you can Google anything and it'll come up, right? But I think the kind of the job of a good personal trainer is how to break it down to you and show you how simple it kind of is. That makes sense. And that's something I've definitely learned a lot more about as well. Like, just understanding that not everybody's going to kind of be wanting to count their calories every day, and not everybody's going to be like wanting to train pure hard or train every day and stuff like that. It's definitely a big learning curve. I kind of feel I've learned for that. But again, I feel as if they're putting out the social content on stuff like that. Like, it really helps people probably kind of connect with you, if that makes sense, because like they see you're just an old person, you're just kind of putting out this information, and then they've picked a wee thing up for it and they've went and done it and they've got some results themselves. Like, the amount of times I've got messages off people, or like seen somebody in, like, maybe out in the street or whatever, and they're saying, "Oh, I done that thing you told me today with this exercise and it was pure good," and whatever. And it's just good, man. It helps you just get your reach out there so much. Like, it's obviously hard to
How
kind of
much did that help during the lockdown? So, say lockdown 1, that you're able to then connect with people. How important was that connecting to make sure that they then stayed even remotely on plan compared to before?
So see when kind of the whole lockdown came about, just before it had happened, I was at a point where I was like, my business literally just kind of grew each month. And like kind of January before lockdown, man, like, I was doing crazy hours and had loads of clients and loads of different stuff like that. And then by the time March came, everything was flying. But then when I went into lockdown, I was so unprepared, right? So I'd always done a wee bit of online coaching here and there, but never properly like kind of sunk my teeth into it, if you will. Like, I was always doing wee bits, but the personal training was kind of always becoming more important because that was my main source of income again. So I was kind of trying to learn the kind of online coaching stuff on the side while I was kind of doing it, but again, I never had enough time to invest into it. So then when lockdown 1.0, I guess, comes, I go in and I've essentially got no clients. So I'm like, right, cool, I need to start online coaching, but I've got no thing set up for it. So legit, the first lockdown, I think the first lockdown was like 9 months. For the first, like, maybe say 7 months of that, I essentially had like no clients, just working on my savings. But during that full time, I literally just spent days and days and days building up this online coaching service, which I only actually got finished. Bear in mind, I started it in like May. I only got that finished just December there. So it was a long time, a long bit of work I kind of put into it. But that basically kind of, from that sort of period, I'd obviously dropped loads of clients, and then for there I've kind of been building up the online sort of things now.
Spot on. So we got to August, gyms reopened, and then we had the big lockdown recently in December. What had you learned from lockdown 1 that helped you with the clients in lockdown 2?
Again, I feel as if I learned massively about just more. So my kind of focus through the full lockdown 1 was building this online coaching service, right? And then putting out content all the time. So I wanted to keep keeping everybody's head, because I knew, like, if I just stayed in everybody's head while everybody was kind of on their phones, it would only help me in the long run. So during that time, as I said, I was building online coaching sort of the online coaching sort of structure. And then maybe say a few months in, I had like maybe say 5 or 6 clients on it. So I was kind of working with them day to day. But the difference to the online coaching to the personal training is personal training they come into you with the gym, you tell them what to do for that hour, and then you say, right, cool, go do this until the next time I see you, and then that's it, right? Whereas with online coaching, you're more adapting their lifestyle and you're changing their wee things here and there every week. to make them get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? You're trying to essentially like give them your lifestyle, but like you kind of just say, right, cool, stop eating chocolate, right? Start training every day of the week, start doing this, blah 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 blah. You need to like kind of gradually do each one and kind of on a step by step process. And that's what I feel I learned in the first lockdown. I remember coming back for the first lockdown and I was just like, I'd learned so much more about kind of how to actually keep my clients engaged in it, because I had loads of clients, but the clients I had were getting results, but they weren't getting these outstanding transformations, which I was always looking for. Like I had one or two who had really good transformations and stuff like that, but like none of them were ever going and getting it like 100% and just being a pure mind-blowing transformation. So that sort of time off, again, I kind of learned. The main thing I was kind of trying to learn is like, what's motivating people? How do I motivate people? Like, what is motivation? Like, I was actually asking myself at days, like, what is motivation? Like, what is that? And then kind of through the first lockdown, I would say that's what I kind of learned. Like motivation, well, you can't really teach motivation. And what I learned mostly was how to actually kind of get people involved and how to keep them involved, and how to actually like make them enjoy and learn the process. So I would say that's what I kind of learned in the first lockdown 1.0, and to there it's kind of been a case of building Tapa, which already there, which is crazy now looking back at how much has kind of changed in that 1 year. But I guess that's it, isn't it?
So the gyms reopen on the 26th of April. But do you foresee there being any long-term challenges to the personal training industry as a result of the closure over the last 4 months?
Aye, definitely. So first of all, I think there'll be a lot less personal trainers now. Like me personally, right? So see, basically when the whole thing kind of happened, I feel as if the fitness industry was really, really, really let down. Now I'm not going to go into politics and COVID stuff now, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't know everything about it. But I feel as if the health and fitness industry should have been one of the first places kind of open, if you will, to kind of get people back into it. Because what I personally would say is the fitter you are, the less likely you're going to kind of be affected by this sort of pandemic. And of course, as the kind of stats come out more and more, it basically shows the heavier you are, the more chance you've got of a bad kind of thing coming for you. Of course, you've got your different kind of wee people who maybe have certain illnesses or whatever, and that's fair enough, or maybe they're older or whatever. But like as a whole, I would say that the vast majority of people, the kind of the standard people, the heavier they were, the worse they were affected by it. And I felt, well, if we know this, why are the gyms not why the first place is opened? So, and then the support for the people in the gyms was terrible as well. A lot of gyms have shut down during lockdown, and again, a lot of PTs probably won't come back to being for doing their next job, I guess, because probably there wasn't a lot of support there for the fitness industry as a whole, I would say. And as well as that, a lot of personal trainers are all self-employed, and the kind of lead up to lockdown was probably why the biggest booms there's been in the fitness industry. Probably the 2 years before that are the biggest booms. Like, think about how many PTs started there. And the reason that is because so many people started getting into fitness, you know what I mean? And the kind of rise of social media also made it easier to be a personal trainer and stuff like that. So, long story short, I feel as if the pandemic will massively have affected the industry. There'll be a lot less personal trainers kind of about, definitely. And
then if we try and put a positive spin on things, what are you most looking forward to as the gyms reopen?
As we go back, I'm just going to appreciate each session, man. Like training at home and stuff like that, like it's kind of taught me how much I do love training, because at the end of the day I still do enjoy it, but see, just the actual, like, I'll never take that gym for granted again, you know what I mean? I won't even take my job for granted. And like I think as well, like the connection you have with people as well, like, so like I feel as if previously it would come to Friday and that'd be switched off and that's me in weekend mode, but now like I feel as if I care so much more for my clients, if that makes sense. Like, I really, really want to impact these people's lives and really turn things around for them, you know what I mean?
Completely agree, Bradley. So then the story arc of your life, we went from school to apprenticeship to qualified to personal trainer, and now we are going to talk about you as a supplement company owner. Talk me through that. How did that start up?
Where did I begin, right? So where did I begin? So I essentially, so this year, I launched with me and an actual a kind of business partner, who prefers to stay a silent partner, by the way. We launched CalPal Nutrition. So CalPal Nutrition basically kind of came for an idea where me and my business partner had, right? So my business partner used to actually be one of my personal training clients as well. The kind of amount of people I've met through my personal training and the amount of great contacts I've made through my clients, by the way, has been insane. I've met my business partner, I've met my girlfriend, and I've met a lot. I met the person that bought my website and all that sort of stuff, right? But me and my kind of business partner, we launched CalPal with the idea where we wanted to bring out a supplement brand that we feel the kind of the everyday person of the East End of Glasgow or Scotland as a whole can kind of connect with. And that's essentially how CalPal got started. You know what I mean? So we're kind of looking to bring something a bit more exciting to the table. So what I've kind of found, right, like me personally, I've used a lot of supplements in the day, right? I've tried all the proteins, I've tried all the pre-workouts and all the different creatines and all the other random supplements you can find in there. But one thing I always found being a common factor when I was using supplements was they always promised the world but delivered so much. There's obviously some that kind of do what they say on the tin and they get the job done. I mean, but a lot of times I've seen stuff like people getting fat burners and expecting to lose all sorts of weight, but nothing ever happening. And I found that quite a shady factor in the supplement industry. And I felt as if like it can be done differently for that. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to trick people into getting the money off them just to think, oh, I buy this and that's going to be saved. You know what I mean? It's more you can easily teach people, especially if you're coming from a personal training background, to show them how to actually use a supplement that isn't pure written the math, that tastes class, but they actually get some results as well. And that's how kind of CalPal all came about. So CalPal actually just launched, and let me just check the exact date right now. 10th of March is when we launched, the 10th of March, and the response we've had has been crazy, to be honest.
Excellent. So, firstly, a two-part question. How did you get the idea to start up the company? And then how did you go about putting those ideas into action?
So the idea came about kind of when we were in sessions and we were just talking about how, like, me and this boy, like he would come in early in the morning with me and he loved pre-workout, right? And we're always trying all these different ones and just kind of talking about them. And then I just kind of says to him one day, I was actually partnered with another supplement company actually called, in fact, I've not mentioned their name, but another supplement company I was kind of partnered with, and he always says to me, why do you not do something like that? And one of my friends actually says the same to me, like, why do you not start your own supplement one? And I was never interested in it. And then I was kind of talking to him, and I'd seen people online launching, like maybe say their own flavour with a supplement brand, and I was like, I would like to do that with them, like maybe launch like a custom Bradley Walker flavour with this said supplement brand. And kind of got talking away to him about it, and he says, "Mate, I would definitely do that, man. That's something I would get behind and stuff." And his kind of the nature of his kind of business in himself, he works with a lot of like massive companies, and especially in Scotland, there's a lot of ones you'll definitely know. I don't really want to mention them because I don't know if, like what his script is, because as I say, he doesn't really want to be in the kind of limelight of this. He just kind of wants to be a silent partner in it. So indeed, that's kind of sort of his decision. But he's worked with a lot of massive companies, and they deal with kind of stuff where it would be kind of touching on supplements and different flavors. And he says, mate, we could make this happen. So that's how the idea came about. So it just basically came from a gym session, two people loving the gym and wanting some awesome products that we personally used all the time, but we just wanted to make them our own and make them better. So but the idea we have in our mind, right, especially with our flavours, is we want you to try that flavour and think about being a wee guy kicking about the street, thinking, oh, man, that's class, that's what that is. And that's what we've kind of done with our two flavours we've released of Protein Plus. Especially the flavour raspberry swirl, like that is legit like an ice cream cone after van with raspberry sauce in it, right? That's exactly what it tastes like. And we like how that kind of takes people back. Our salty caramel cake flavour is something similar to that as well. And the kind of best way to explain that to people is imagine being in school in the fuel zone or the whatever, and you're eating the caramel cake they give you. That's the idea we kind of went with that. And that's the sort of idea we want to kind of do with all flavours, is take you back to your childhood.
So you and your business partner, you've come up with the idea, you've got the flavours, you're tapping into people's nostalgia. What was your approach marketing-wise?
So he kind of, with his own business, he has a team with them. So the marketing is all kind of came together through his experience of what he's learned as kind of the business he owns and the business he does. So it's obviously a lot of experience through him, but as well as that, we kind of tie in our ideas. So he's kind of, if you can imagine, the business side of things, he's really good at that. And then I would say where I kind of come in is more the kind of like the passion, the kind of the person who's really invested in the fitness industry. And so I think kind of the combination of the two of us just ties in really, really nicely, because he knows what we should kind of do marketing wise, business wise, and then I kind of know for the idea of the customer, if that makes sense. So I feel as if the both of them just kind of tied together has just made our full brand, and all our sort of marketing stuff. And as well with the brand, we're really on the same page. Like we're so on the same page with a lot of the ideas that, like, essentially, like he'll say something to me, and I'll just be like, no, mate, that's 100% right. Let's go with that. Or it's maybe back and forth the other way, you know what I mean? But with the kind of whole marketing idea, like, we really want, like, again, if I was to say the everyday person for the East End who likes to go to the gym, we want to capture them because we know for a fact they'll love this.
After a good reception since the launch of CalPal, Bradley, where do you see it going? Is the sky the limit?
Oh, so mate, aye, big time. So the as you say, mate, the launch, mate, went exceptional, like really, really good, man. We've been blown away with the kind of support we've got, and I think that's a massive part of it as well. The fact that we've for being such a very new brand, we've got quite a lot of people who are really, really engaged with us already, and kind of shout out to all of them. I mean, like, every one of them has been amazing so far. The other people just sharing their posts or something like that, asking us questions and that. Like, we've had a good kind of investment into our, like, community, if you will. But while we see it, mate, we genuinely have, like, a massive, massive, massive dream for this. Like, we want to be up there competing with somebody like MyProtein. Like, that's the kind of level we want to be. And the kind of way we want to do that is we want to firstly conquer Scotland and then move on to kind of the different cities. And that's kind of a big thing with CalPal, is we have, like, we can explain it as a strong street heritage, a strong city heritage. You know what I mean? That's kind of where we are based. So that's kind of what we'll sort of focus on doing. You know what I mean? So the sky's the limit, mate, and we really have massive things planned for it. So for example, we've got a couple of things in the pipeline coming up. And look, although we are a supplement brand, we like to think of ourselves as more of a lifestyle brand, because yes, we're supplying supplements, but we're also more, but we look to kind of get things, we look to kind of go into the sort of lifestyle idea, where it's not just, all right, you're buying your supplements for CalPal because you're going to the gym. It's more, right, cool, you're buying your supplements for CalPal because you're going to the gym. You're using, say, for example, the apparel, the shakers, and all that sort of stuff. All this sort of stuff that comes with the lifestyle of being into the gym. That's kind of what we're looking to do with that.
Amazing. So then that's CalPal, the future plans for CalPal. But what about Bradley Walker, the PT? What are your long-term goals? Would you like to one day have your own gym?
Right. So Bradley Walker PT, right? So what's kind of the idea with me? What I'm trying to do just now is I'm trying to transition from being an in-gym trainer to an online trainer. And right now that's going okay. Of course, with the whole lockdown thing, it's kind of tied in nicely. A lot of my clients have changed over to the online sort of thing. And what I kind of look to do with my business is to make it as online as possible, so I can essentially work from anywhere in the world, because traveling is something I look to go and do. With myself now, my main thing I'm trying to develop is essentially, so what it's called is called the Physique Blueprint. And what I'm looking to basically do with this is I want to make something that's just as important as your gym membership to have to ensure you go and get results, right? I want to make, this Physique Blueprint, I want to make something super affordable that literally every person, I say every person in the world, any kind of working class person can afford it, right? And this is going to basically kind of teach them everything you need to know for day one, starting the gym, to 10 years down the line. And that's what I'm looking to sort of develop now. And again, kind of trying to build my online coaching service with that as well. So the kind of Physique Blueprint will be more something that is available to essentially limitless amount of people. And it's a little more, it's probably going to be best suited for, say, for example, the young guy that comes in at, say, 18, 19, and he wants to build up a good physique. It's going to be best suited to them, rather than, for example, somebody who's trained for 8 years and they want a specific goal.
How does the Physique Blueprint fit into your personal long-term goals as a trainer, Bradley, does it mean that you're then becoming online facing, which means you don't have to rely so much on the gym industry bouncing back because your business goes through being in touch with people over the internet?
What I'm kind of looking to do with the physique blueprint, right, is, as you say, is trying to kind of avoid obviously the issue of a lockdown happening, right? So that's obviously the worst thing, and I don't want to be in a position where I'm solely relying on being a one-to-one personal trainer. But I will always enjoy doing that, and I probably will always do a little bit of that, but just very, very limited to maybe say very specific clients that are maybe more, maybe having kind of more specific goals that are actually going towards, just say for example, bodybuilding shows or something like that, right? But with the physique blueprint, what I'm looking to do is more help a wider amount of people. So you said previously like, what your kind of goals with Bradley Walker Fitness. Like, I kind of want to be, I want to have a massive part in inspiring Glasgow, Scotland, the kind of future generation to go and get into fitness. You know what I mean? I want to play a massive part in that. And I feel as if the physique blueprint is going to be how I go and do that, because with personal training, I can only work with so many people on a day-to-day basis and an hour-to-hour basis. But with the physique blueprint, I can go and help essentially infinity people, because like the way it's kind of set up, it can be done in anywhere in the world with in your own time, essentially, because all the information you need to know is all there. It all comes to you in order, but you do it in your own time. So instead of coming to me once a week and I speak to you for an hour, you can watch me, say, 2 hours per night, or however long you can dedicate to that, and learn as you're going along with that. If that makes sense.
Is that partly then you becoming the teacher? So you're teaching the habits and the lifestyle element of it, or am I completely misreading that?
So basically, teaching the habits, right? It can, again, trying to kind of teach them that sort of lifestyle, but with it as well, right? So the kind of idea of that is with the majority, right, of the kind of public, right? The kind of, again, that kind of average sort of young guy going in, right? A lot of the time, right? A lot of the time they're going to do a lot of the same stuff, and it's a lot of the same sort of fundamentals you're teaching people. So just again through experience, like when I've maybe taken a young guy, say 18, right, before I even go and train him, I know roughly in my head how it's going to go. So the same bulk of stuff gets taught to pretty much every person, but there's the alterations that get made in there depending on the person's maybe specific things. So for example, right, say 2 young guys come in and they both want to get bigger. 90% of their workout is going to be the same with slight alterations in there. Because at the end of the day, a squat's always going to be a squat. A hip hinge, which is basically like tilting forward the hips, is always going to be that. You're always going to have to do a bench press movement, an overhead press movement, a pull-up movement, a rowing movement. So there's a lot of the same stuff in there that sometimes is just repetitive gone over, that it can be taught to people via video, essentially.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So just to finish off, where can people find you on social media?
So to find me pretty much anywhere on the internet, just search Bradley Walker Fitness, and you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Of course, I've got a website as well, which is just bradleywalkerfitness.com. On my website, I've actually got tons of free training guides you can go download. And
what about CalPal?
You'll find CalPal solely on Instagram at CalPal Nutrition.
And then CalPal Nutrition's website, am I right in saying that is www.calpalnutrition.com?
Aye.
Excellent. Right, everybody, get involved. Thanks so much for your time, Bradley. I really appreciate it.
Peace out, mate. Bye-bye.
There you have it. That was this week's Lost for Words with Bradley Walker. Apologies for the abruptness of the questions at the end. We had some issues with the audio. I will go over Bradley's socials in case you weren't able to catch them. These will also be included in the description for this episode. BradleyWalkerFitness.com is Bradley's website, and he can be found on Instagram at BradleyWalkerFitness. For CalPal Nutrition, the Instagram is at CalPal Nutrition, and the website is calpalnutrition.com. A reminder again that you can use the code Bradley10 for a discount on any CalPal orders. As always, acknowledgements to round off. The Lost for Words logo was made by AZR Creations. Music and sound effects come from zapsplat.com. You can follow Lost for Words on Twitter and Instagram at LostForWordsPod. If you use Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review to help the podcast to grow. Thank you very much for listening to this episode with Bradley Walker. I am your host Jason, and I will see you next week for episode 5 of the Lost for Words podcast.